Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang gunutarang upajayang namasami. So I ask permission from Lumpur Pasnu, my Upajjhaya and my primary teacher, and all the other senior monks and junior monks and lay people to talk a little bit tonight. I've been away from the monastery for a year now, and I just got back after quarantining for 2 weeks in the Bay Area, and I've been here at Abhayagiri now for about 10 days. And I thought I'd maybe talk a little bit about my experience in Thailand and relate it to teaching which Lumpur Pasno has highlighted from the suttas for many years. So that teaching is basically Lumpur, to paraphrase Lumpur, that many people think, especially maybe Westerners, many people think that they come to meditation with the idea, once I get my meditation together, then I'll be happy. That's the formula. So I'll call that the concentration leads to happiness kind of attitude. Whereas Lumpur brings up these sutta references which point to a different way of going about things, which are basically, once I get my happiness together, then the mind can become concentrated. So, that's the happiness leads to concentration method. And this kind of mirrors both of these different modalities, kind of mirror my last year or so experience, specifically in Thailand at a meditation monastery, meditation center, really kind of emphasizing or going with this concentration leads to happiness method. And it was a extremely supportive environment for developing concentration. Basically, that was the whole, the monastery schedule, all of the different protocols at the monastery were really just centered around maximizing time for everybody to get to meditate. So, 365 days a year, the meditation schedule was the foremost in everyone's mind. We had every other day interviews with a sayadaw, with the main teacher, and he would ask us about our meditation and ask us how well we were keeping the daily schedule. And the answer was always keep to the daily schedule and meditate as much as possible within that schedule and on top of that schedule if possible. And the daily schedule was pretty strict. There were 5 periods of 1.5 hour each formal sitting meditation in a group setting. So everybody would come together and sit for these periods in a hall which had windows, but all the windows were blocked out with really thick curtains. So you basically just go into this pretty much fully dark environment and are sitting with a group of somewhere between 15 and 20 other monks, and you just repeat every day, including even up to usually at a forest monastery. Every monastery I've ever lived at, except for this monastery, there are certain days or many days where the schedule is switched around for various reasons. So there's a big ceremony or something like Katina or various other ceremonies that happen throughout the year in monasteries. The whole week leading up to the event, we'll be setting up various things, and the day of the event is punctuated by basically attending to this event throughout the whole day, the morning, afternoon, and sometimes even into the evenings. But at this monastery, I mean, the katina was basically just 2 hours in the afternoon when we went to a hall and lay people offered cloth, and we received it, and that was it. And then we go back to our meditation schedule. So on paper, this might look like, for some people who really idealize meditation, that this is the absolute best environment. And for some people, I think it could be. I mean, there are some people in this monastery who really were thriving, who had either grown up in this meditation center method, or had come to it and really taken to it like a fish to water. But there were many others who it can become dry if you're just all you're doing every moment of every day, at least in a group setting, is coming back to the breath at the tip of your nose. So it can become dry. It's like image that came to mind was like you're trying to slide down a water slide, like a really long water slide in an amusement park, but there's no water. You just jump on the slide, and then you can imagine what happens. You either you don't go very far. So it can feel like that sometimes, and so that was the approach of this monastery, and it's basically just emphasizing meditation. If you just come back to the sensation of the breath at the tip of the nose enough, if you just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and then keep doing it tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day, then you'll be happy. And that's all you need to do. There's not much reflection that you need to do. You just do this technique just over and over and over, and then you'll get jhana, and then you'll get the second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. There's a whole map, and eventually you'll be happy. Is the what's on paper? But the approach which I feel is kind of really lived here at Abhayagiri and the other monasteries I've lived at in the Lumpur Cha tradition is a much broader methodology, where we have periods of work where we can give back to the community. There are long periods of solitude where we can say every day we have the full afternoon where we can spend our time however we want within the bounds of the precepts. And really it's a big ground to explore. We can study, we can walk around the monastery, we can meditate. Really, we're free to choose our afternoons as we will. The kind of framework which Lumpur draws this idea from is in the suttas. It's basically a progression which starts at various different points, and then based on different practices or different activities that we do, wholesome activities, this leads to gladness, pamoja. Then from gladness or delight, it leads to piti or joy. From piti, there comes kaya pasada, which is the tranquilizing, the calming of the body. From kaya pasada, we have, it leads to sukha vedana. So this is to feeling happiness or having pleasant feelings. And then from pleasant feelings, you have yatha bhuta jnana dasanam. So we have actually yatha bhuta pasati and janati. So seeing things as they really are, seeing things in line with the truth of nature. And then from there comes disenchantment. From disenchantment comes dispassion, and from dispassion there comes liberation. So this is the general progression, and this shows up in many suttas. One of my job for the last week or so since I've been back, I've gotten permission to basically during the work period to put together a list of all the times in the canon that this particular progression comes up, and collate all these instances, and then kind of organize the list. And it in itself has been a really enjoyable task. Every day I'm kind of filled with energy doing these searches, and pretty much have pulled together all the instances in the canon where this shows up, and it shows up in about 15 to 20 distinct different suttas. And within those different suttas, some of the suttas within one sutta, it might then speak of 2 or 3 or 4 or more sub-instances of this progression, different things which lead to gladness or delight. So organizing these different lists, pulling them all together, I've found like a pattern that roughly you can organize these causes or these paths to pamoja, these different causes for delight, into 5 or so kind of headings. The first is faith. So there are 3 different suttas which speak of having faith in the Buddha, having faith in the Dhamma, having faith in the Sangha being causes for delight, causes for pamoja. So specifically, these suttas are referring to what's called verified confidence, which is a euphemism for the confidence or the faith of a stream enterer. So basically, it's unwavering confidence. This leads to delight, to pamoja. But really, I think everyone here has either lived here for years or has been a supporter of the monastery for a long time, is a serious practitioner, and hopefully everybody can think of instances when bowing to the Buddha or reciting the virtues of the Buddha, or just thinking on Dhamma, reflecting on Dhamma, or just seeing inspiring instances of the Sangha really did just bring, if not tears to the eyes, just led to a feeling of well-being. And this is what this progression is all about. So pamoja, piti, kaya pasadi, sukha. These are basically just intensifying or increasing degrees of well-being and happiness. Bowing to the Buddha, it can be an enjoyable thing, and you can really cultivate it, and you can see it in other people, and it's something you can learn. You can learn to have faith. You can see that you can see someone who's obviously enjoying the faith aspect of their existence, their faith faculty. It's strong, and it makes them happy, and you can take that on and train in it, and similarly feel the kind of well-being that can come from that as well. Just having a clear model for your life can lead to feeling good about yourself and feeling good about your life and your life's trajectory. So the second subheading is chaga, or generosity. So these are, generosity can lead to pamoja, can lead to piti, can lead to kaya pasadi, can lead to sukha, can lead to samadhi. So when you give, or when you give up, or when you give away all these different types of giving, in a sense you can see it as giving up that which was never really necessary in the first place, and that can lessen your load, the psychic load or bearing that you're carrying around all the time. You no longer have to worry about this thing because you're giving it up. You're physically giving something to someone, or you're giving of your time. These can, when you really let go and give from the heart, it feels good, and that general or isolated feeling of goodness can really expand, and you see that in different monasteries, especially with there are some really good role models around our monasteries, and people who've been giving in different ways for decades, both lay people and monastics, and it's inspiring. It's inspiring, and it's brightening when you see these people who have obviously internalized the well-being and the joy and the concentration which can come from giving up. So training in this. The third major heading, which you find in the suttas, is sila. So practicing virtue can lead to happiness. One sutta in particular, the Anguttara Nikaya 10, number 2, highlights that virtue or vinaya, keeping precepts, can lead to non-remorse, and then non-remorse leads to pamoja, leads to piti, leads to kaya pasadi, leads to sukha, leads to samadhi. So when you don't have remorse, when you're doing good, then the mind isn't just constantly having something to gnaw on in the past. It's not just eating you up from the inside. You've got a sense of well-being that is reliable. Last midnight tea, we asked Lumpur Pasana what was, looking back on 40 years of being a monk, what does he feel most proud of? I mean, he's established 3 or 4 different huge monasteries, which multiple monks have benefited from in multiple different localities, 2 different countries. He's written many books, has all these accolades. You could look at his spiritual CV, and it's full up with good stuff. But the answer he said, what does he feel best about, is in the past 40 years he hasn't harmed anybody. And when he said that, I was like, really? Like that's what you feel best about? I mean, like, you made all these monasteries and you wrote all these books, and I think it's fascinating to think about, and something to aspire to. And I think all of us here, and we've been doing that to some degree. I mean, for however long we've been monks, or however long we've been living in the monastery, we've been keeping at least the 5 precepts, and if we've actually been living in the monastery, at least the 8 precepts. And one thing which I like to do sometimes is look back over I'm 37, so imagine a timeline of my life's existence, and basically look at the periods when I was breaking, these different precepts. So for how many years was I, taking intoxicants of different kinds, and depending on the intoxicant, the range kind of varies. But you can just imagine for yourself what your life's timeline looks like, and hopefully for most of us, at least probably the first 10 or 12 years, maybe, you're refraining from intoxicants, and for the first, 2 or 3 years, you're not lying or so. So, these things add up, and you can look back and say, I spent most of my life not breaking the 5 precepts. That feels good. So, this kind of reflection on one's own sila. This is something else which came up in looking and comparing these different sutta instances, is that they're not just saying, I have sila, therefore I'm going to have pamoja, piti, kaya pasadi, sukha, samadhi. Oftentimes it's reflecting, it's looking back and saying, oh, I've been honest. I'm someone who's honest, and this leads to pamoja. I'm someone who has been celibate, and that leads to pamoja. I'm a truth speaker. I'm an ascetic. These are specific instances which you find in, I believe it's the Chanki Sutta, Majjhima 95. So basically, it's not just that you have virtue and then automatically you're going to be happy. Oftentimes it'll take this. You have to remember that you are a truth speaker. You have to remember and reflect that you're celibate. You have to remember that, you've been keeping the precepts and keeping good action. And oftentimes it's really possible to go a long time and just not pay attention to that, and not make importance of it, not make that into something. Whereas if you do reflect on a daily basis, that you're not hurting anybody, this reflection, this looking back, can become a strength. You become better at looking at the good sides of yourself. Often many of us are super skilled at looking at our previous faults. You just perseverate and just think on and on and on about the stupidest little fault that you made today. You said some stupid thing to somebody else, or you maybe ate too much at the meal, or some stupid little small little thing like that. Whereas we've all been doing so much, and it's really just a shift of perspective to giving importance to that. And this is honestly an extremely important skill that I would hope myself, and I hope everyone here can really give importance to, because when you die, and when I die, you don't want the bad, you don't want to remember that on July 18th you ate too much at Abhayagiri. You want to remember that, you hadn't harmed anybody for X number of years. You hadn't, you've been keeping precepts. And this isn't like a natural thing to do, this kind of, sometimes it's called via negativa. It's like basically you're looking at all the things you haven't done. Oftentimes, it's the logical thing that we look at all of the great things that we do, like I was thinking Lumpur Pasano would be looking at. You've created all these monasteries, or you've got all these accolades, you've got these different things, and oftentimes that's how I judge myself. I can chant the Patimokkha, or I can chant XYZ, or I've sewn a triple set of robes, or I've got these different, basically it's like collecting monk merit badges, like it's monastic Boy Scouts or something. And that's what I do, and that's what many of us do, because that's what our culture values. But the things we're not doing can be equally powerful, and but it's kind of like the shadow. You can see a shadow. It's not like shadows don't exist, but oftentimes we don't look at the shadows. We look at the objects that are casting the shadows. So, but we can easily enough just shift our attention and pay attention to the things all the bad things that we haven't been doing. So this is the kind of secret of this particular heading of reflecting on our own virtue. And the next heading is sutta, S-U-T-A, which is learning. So there's one fairly well-known sutta in particular which has 5 different dhammas, which it says are bases for liberation. These are vimutitana. And 4 of them are related to learning or to study. And each of them, all 5, lead to pamoja, then lead to piti, lead to kaya pasadi, lead to sukha, and lead to samadhi. It's from increasing levels of well-being up to the well-being of samadhi. And the first 4, which deal with education, with study, are listening to the Dhamma. Hearing the Dhamma can lead to gladness. Hearing the Dhamma can lead to gladness. And it's not that, really, that's not up to the person who's speaking. It's not that every discourse the Buddha gave, everyone became enlightened automatically. Like it depends on each individual person. It depends on how you listen and how you hear and how you're processing the Dhamma talks that you're hearing, or really anything that you're hearing. It depends on how you process that, and you can process everything in a Dhammic way. And if you give importance to any teaching, even if the Dhamma talk giver is no good, or they say a lot, or they have different verbal tics, or for whatever reason their voice is annoying to you, or I'm just trying to cover all my bases so as to if you're not enlightened hearing this, then it's your fault, not mine. So covering my bases. But listening to the Dhamma can lead to gladness. And the next basis for liberation is thinking on the Dhamma. Following upon this, you have reciting the Dhamma. So that's what we do in a formal way when we're doing our morning and evening chanting, or if you're learning any suttas outside of the normal daily schedule. This is what you can do, and this can lead to a brightness of mind. And you might be surprised if you haven't yet experimented with chanting practice, that it can lead to states of well-being, which if you internalize the teachings of the Buddha. That's what this is about. That's what chanting is about. And it happened. The Buddha's disciples have been chanting, have been reciting, repeating the teachings ever since the time of the Buddha. So we're just more people on that chain. And the final of these bases of liberation, which deal with learning, is teaching. So you don't have to think about that as sitting up in front of a bunch of people in a hall with a microphone and a stopwatch on Saturday nights or wanpras. You can just when you're speaking with other people, if you're really giving attention and care to what you say and how you speak, and letting the Dhamma kind of rise up and change you, then this can lead to gladness, can lead to happiness, can lead to samadhi. So that's the the fourth of these 5 headings is sutta, or learning. And the fifth one are how wisdom or bhavana can lead to gladness, can lead to joy, can lead to tranquilizing the body, and can lead to happiness and concentration. So there are quite a few suttas which point this out and really highlight the quality of yoniso manasikara, or also translated as wise attention, careful attention, attention or paying attention to the base, the yoni, coming back, basically reflecting back on the source, reflecting back on anicca, dukkha, anatta. This type of wise reflection can lead to gladness and a sense of well-being. There's one extended teaching in the Patisambhidamagga, which is a lesser-known book for most Westerners of the Khuddaka Nikaya. So it is canonical, but it's, I think the last time it was translated was 80 years ago. Not totally sure, but it's not one which has been translated recently. But in there's a teaching which basically, goes into extreme detail. There are 204 different subheadings of wisely reflecting on XYZ, up to 204 different things. Leads to gladness, leads to piti, leads to kaya passaddhi, leads to sukha, leads to samadhi. And basically, it's covering everything, the internal sense bases, the external sense bases. And when you reflect on the anicca, the impermanence of these, or the dukkha, or the unsatisfactoriness of these things, or the anatta, or not-self nature of any of these things. And again, any of these things is everything. This list is meant to be all-covering. And so basically, reflecting on the anicca, dukkha, anatta of anything can lead to gladness. And that's worthy of reflection. If you can shift your perspective whenever you're feeling some level of dukkha, of domanassa, of physical or mental anguish or unsatisfactoriness, if you look at that with wise reflection, then it's not like you're necessarily immediately going to just be beaming with happiness and joy at the pain you're feeling in your leg, but there can be a subtle shift where just being in the present moment can result in a feeling of well-being. There's a joy of just being in the present moment. So those are the 5 headings which we can summarize these different pamoja dhammas under. We've got saddha, or faith, leading to well-being, and sila, or virtue, leading to well-being. The third one is chaga, or generosity, relinquishment, leading to well-being. Sutta, or learning, leading to well-being. And the fifth is the wisdom teachings, which lead to well-being. And this is a very broad approach to practice, and I feel it's one which it's a lifelong practice. I mean, you can, this is all-encompassing, really. I mean, if you, basically you can take any of these wholesome factors and, imagining a spiritual life in the monastery or close to a monastery or wherever you are, a life which in which you experience well-being. This is a life worth living. Nobody wants to be just living their life on the waterless water slide. You can do it for some time. If you want to go to a meditation retreat, and you can really push yourself. And not saying that the whole experience will be just totally miserable, and if you have some facility and you have some skill at meditation, obviously meditation retreats can be extremely pleasant and enjoyable. But if you are looking at this in the long term, or meditation retreat centers are very rarefied places which are hard to replicate anywhere else. And conditions are going to change. And if your happiness and well-being is predicated on being able to attain a specific rarefied type of concentration, then that's a really unstable and it's a bit frail. Your happiness is frail and somewhat brittle, whereas the happiness, if you're able to learn how to enjoy all these different pamoja dhammas, these things that we've been talking about, then that's robust. It's a path that you can live with and enjoy. Well, I hope everyone here has been reflecting on how fortunate we all are to be here. And I hope everyone has a good evening and is able to find in some ways, you tell people you're living at a monastery, or that you're a monk, or you're staying at a monastery long term, and they almost look at you like you volunteered to go to prison or something. It's like that. We're living in deprivation and privation, but it doesn't have to be like that. So I really hope everybody can find the pamoja dhammas which work for you, and find things which make you happy and give a sense of well-being in the monastery. And one thing which isn't necessarily on this list is kalyanamitta, is friendship, and that certainly leads to well-being, and that's something which I've definitely felt coming back here to Abhayagiri is just the warmth, the extreme warmth. I mean, although there's no sutta in particular which says kalyanamitta leads to pamoja, leads to piti, leads to kaya passaddhi, leads to sukha and samadhi. I mean, you can feel it, and other people can. It's something. When I first came back, basically my mom and stepdad drove me up from the Bay Area, and when we got here, rolled up, and all of the monks were out. They had already been working, doing day before Wanpra cleanup, and a bunch of them saw my mom's car come up and saw that it was me and came over to greet me, and I just started beaming. I just was very, very happy and my mom, I spoke with her after that, and she just remarked how, it was very noteworthy, just how happy I was to see all my friends, and she said that she could see also on, the different monk friends here who came up to greet me, that they were also very happy to see me. So it was kind of fascinating. This, just her seeing this level of genuine happiness, wholesome happiness, I think has kind of opened her up to the monastery and me being a monk in a way which to a higher degree which than has existed before. So it's something which you not only can feel within yourself, but others can see as well. So I'll end this talk now, so you can all shift from the enjoyment of listening to a Dhamma talk to the enjoyment of not listening to a Dhamma talk, and I'll end right there.